All right, another lighting setup. Starting off with a black background, we're going to go for a dramatic look, but this one is for female lighting. So, we're lighting women. We want to use a nice big softbox. This is a 39-inch by 39-inch size. So it has to be a big softbox. You're not married to the 39-39 part of it, just the fact that it's big is what you're looking for. Of course, the bigger the softbox, the more softer in wrapping the light. So I'm going to have the subject stand about here. Softbox is going to be here. Now, there's a technique called feathering the light that adds extra softness. If you put the subject where the center of the light is going to be directly on them, that's going to be harsher. As you get to these edges, it gets softer. So it's very, very common when you're trying to get the softest, most beautiful light, especially for women, children, babies, things like that, is that you will actually turn this thing to where you're just catching the edge of the lighting. It's called feathering, and it works really, really great. So actually, it looks like the light is actually passing in front of your subject sometimes. But of course, you got to realize it's coming out in a big flash. You're going to lose a little bit of power, right? So because it's not going to be as powerful back here as it's going to be in the center of the light, there's always a fall off from here to here. But in this case, it's very, very popular, especially in portrait photography, glamour photography, things like that. You're going to want to be on this edge instead of the center. In this case, I'm going to have the subject stand about right here, and I'm going to kind of feather this back just a little bit so it's not really kind of almost blowing past her, and she's kind of getting the edge here, so it's going to be very, very nice and soft and flattering. Now, 45 degrees, the opposite of this, coming straight back here, is another strobe. And I'm using what's called a strip bank, so it's a very tall, thin, it's like 1 foot wide by 3 feet deep. Now they make these in all different sizes, of course. You can get the 1 foot by 3 foot, or you can get a really, really long one. And what these do is, just think about it. The box is tall and skinny, so how's the light going to come out of it? Taller and skinnier than it normally would be. So I really kind of like this. This makes a great hair light. Now if you want to put it straight over your subject, right over their head on a boom stand, it makes a standard, traditional kind of great hair light. What I like about here is I'm using this kind of as a hair light. It's going to light the back side of her hair. So it does a nice job that way. But also, this also kind of lights the arms and everything else. It does a really, really nice job with it. Now, what you can do is, anytime you're using more than one strobe, you can just build this in segments. So in a moment, I'm going to bring Shay back out, and we're going to put her here. I can start with just the backlight and just see just what the backlight looks like. Then I can add the front light. You can build it in stages. So what we really want to get out of this look is, I'm going to have her actually kind of turn and play towards this light. So what am I looking for in this particular look is, I want light kind of here. I want it to kind of fall off to shadows over here. Then I want this light to kind of pick up and light back here. So there kind of almost should be a little bit of a gap in lighting right over here, right? This side of the face is well lit, it goes dark, and then it's lit back here. You've seen this kind of look before. It's kind of a dramatic look, but it's also a very nice look. This works for men and women, but in this case, I'm really trying to go for the softness, which is why we're feathering the softbox and using such a large softbox. So let me go ahead and bring Shay onto the set, and we're going to start off. I'm going to go ahead and turn off the front light. I'm going to turn on the back light. We're just going to work on the hair. So Shay, if you'll stand right there for me, thank you. Let me go ahead and turn off this front light. Alrighty, and so now we're just going to work on the strip light in the back, and I'm going to grab my camera. Let's look at the settings. The settings are very surprising. 125th of a second for the shutter speed, and we're like at 7.1 for the aperture. Now we can go up again as high as f11 or something like that, but at 7.1 things are going to be pretty in focus, so I'm not too worried about it. So Shay, this is only going to be the backlight, but I'm going to have you kind of look where you would normally look. So if you'd kind of look a little bit over this way, but again I want you to be really careful about not letting me see too much of the whites of the eyes. So let's go ahead and just take a first shot here and look at the backlight. All right, well you can take a look at the shot here and you can see how you don't really see the front of her is lit at all. It just lights kind of a rim light on one side of her. You can also see another big problem in this shot right here, and it's the lens flare. You can actually see that. So I'm going to have David grab a flag and bring one in, because that's going to create a problem. Now I'm not going to create the tunnel this time because I only have one light, so I'm just going to kind of have David push it back a little further. So mostly I don't see that light. That's pretty good. Right there. Let me take a test shot again, and let's try that. Boom, lens flare is gone. That's how easy it is to fix it, is just getting something between you and that light. So what I'm doing is I'm just making sure that I don't really see too much of that. Now, from where I'm standing right here, I actually can see about this much of it, but it doesn't cause a problem. I really want to capture the big of it, the bigness of the light, capture most of it with that flag, which it did. All right, now we can go and turn on the second light. Let me go ahead and do that. I'll just flick this baby on. And let's try this. And let's take a test shot here, kind of playing to the same spot. Very nice. Now, on looking at this, it just looks like the front light, the main light, is a little bit too much. And I'm also picking up some lens flare again. So the light didn't move, but I must have shot from a slightly different angle, because let me just move over a little bit. Yeah, I think I did. Let me just put myself in the right spot. And the lens flare is gone. Do you see how much difference that was? And the lens flare came back. I shot over here, I had the lens flare. I shoot right here, and the lens flare is gone. That's because I positioned the flag while I was standing here, but I didn't come back to the same spot. All right, so let me just, I'm going to lower the power of this strobe. So that one is on group 1. Let me make sure that's correct. Okay, so each time I press this, so I'm going to have Adam swing around here and take a look at this. Each time I press the down button, you'll actually see the power of the strobe drop. So that's me on the camera just dropping it. So if I want to raise it or lower it, I can do it right from the camera position. All right, so we're going to take this down to 1.5, so that's just about as low as this one will go. And then I'm going to retry the shot. This way I think I'm going to have a little bit lower, and it's not going to be quite so bright in the front, a little bit more dramatic. Wow, what a difference. That was it. That's what I needed to do that. And if you look at the shot here, you can see it does go from being lit in the front, and it's nice, soft wrapping light. Her eyes look great. The position of her eyes is dead on the money. Let me shoot that one again real quickly. We've got a really nice shot here, Shay. So if I'm just going to have you kind of work to that light. Very nice, good. And I keep recomposing, so I'm not moving my spot where it needs to be. Very nice. That looks great. That looks good. Very nice. All right, a couple more and we'll be set here. These look very good. And good. And let's take a look. Great. No hot spots, no highlights, no nothing. We're good. Really a very, very simple setup, just using 2 lights. And so what made this kind of work are 2 things. That strip light in the back really makes it work. The softness is coming from feathering that light so it's not hitting her directly. And number 3 is the flag kept us from having issues that we're going to have to deal with later in Photoshop. Very, very simple setup. And of course we're using that black Westcott background that lets us do this anywhere on location. We could be in the middle of a convention center, shoot the same thing, get the exact same look because we're just using a portable background.